Good morning. Welcome, everyone. I call this meeting to order. I see you have a quorum. Are there any declarations of interest at this time? Seeing none, I'll now take a motion to confirm the minutes of January 8, 2020. Moved by Councillor Ford. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Are there any petitions at this time? Seeing none, we will now go through the items. (13.1) Final report, 4700 Keele Street, the Quad Phase 2 zoning bylaw amendment application. Are there any speakers on this item on 4700 Keele Street? Any speakers? Going twice, no speakers. Councillor Nunziata. Or Councillor Perruzza, I'm sorry.
Sure, I'm happy to move the, I guess it would be the supplementary report? Okay, yeah.
Okay, so Councillor Perruzza moved the supplementary report. All in favor? Opposed? That's carried. (13.2) Preliminary report, 468 Beamish Drive zoning bylaw amendment application. Councillor Ford, could you move that on my behalf, please?
So moved, Mr. Chair.
Councillor Ford moves the staff recs. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 13.3 preliminary report, 417, 419 Burnhamthorpe Road zoning bylaw amendment application. Deputy Mayor Holliday.
Good morning, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move the staff recommendations of the report.
Deputy Mayor Holliday moves the staff recs. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 13.4 preliminary report, 2421 Eglinton Avenue West zoning bylaw amendment application. Councillor Nunziata.
Yes, I do have a motion.
Do you want to just quickly say what it is?
To direct staff to schedule a community consultation meeting with the applicant located at Eglinton Avenue, which includes the provision of light refreshments when required, child care and accessibility resources, including sign language, interpretation at the sole cost of the applicant, together with the ward counselor. A notice for the community consultation meeting be given to landowners or residents within 240 meters of the application site, and to additional residents, institutions, and owners to be determined in consultation with board counselor, with any additional mailing cost to be borne by the applicant.
Thank you. The motion's on the screen. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Clause amended. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 13.5 preliminary report, 3353, 3359 Lakeshore Boulevard West official plan and zoning bylaw amendment application. Councillor Ford, you move the staff recs.
Mr. Chair, I'll move staff recommendations.
Councillor Ford moved the staff recommendations. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. 13.6 preliminary report, 1440 and 1442 Lawrence Avenue West and 2400 Keele Street zoning bylaw amendment application. Councillor Nunziata.
Yes, I do have a motion.
Kind of the same as last one?
Yeah.
Okay, motion's on the screen. The amendment, all in favor? Opposed, carried. Clause amendment, all in favor? Opposed, carried. 13.7, preliminary report, 340 Mill Road, zoning bylaw amendment application. Deputy Mayor Holliday.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. May I just request to hold this item? I want to do a technical amendment to request planning to circulate it to public health, and I'll have the wording for that in just a moment.
Okay, we'll hold that down. 13.8, preliminary report, 375, 385, the West Mall zoning bylaw amendment application. Councillor Holliday.
Same thing, Mr. Chair. If you can just hold that for a moment, I just want to get the wording over to the clerk, and I don't believe it's contentious.
Okay. 13.9, application for fence exemption, 26 Agar Crescent. Are there any speakers on 26 Agar Crescent? Any speakers on Agar Crescent? Seeing none, Councillor Holliday.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I'd like to move recommendation number 2, which is to grant the application for fence exemption.
Okay, Deputy Mayor Holliday is granting moving number 2 to allow the fence exemption. All in favor? Opposed? That is carried. Application fence exemption, 8 Darien Court. Are there any speakers on 8 Darien Court? 8 Darien Court? Seeing none, Councillor Nunziata.
Yes, I do have a motion. Okay, to grant the application?
Okay, the motion's on the screen. Are we okay with that? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 13, 11, public art plan for Woodbine Casino lands, Block 10 to 555 Rexdale Boulevard. Councillor Ford.
Mr. Chair, I'd just like to hold this down for a couple brief questions to staff.
Thirteen 12, Always Stop Control, Thoroughdale Avenue and Duckworth Street. Councillor Nunziata.
Yes, I do have a motion to defer consideration of this item to its meeting on March 12th, 2020.
Councillor Nunziata moved deferral the next day. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 1313, Parking Regulation Amendment and Turn Prohibitions on George Street. Councillor Nunziata.
Move staff recommendations.
Councillor Nunziata moves the staff recs. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 1314, Parking Regulation Amendment, Blue Springs Road. Councillor Nunziata.
Move staff recommendations.
Councillor Nunziata moves the staff recs. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. You okay, Rosemary? 1315, Parking Regulation Amendment, the West Mall. Deputy Mayor Holliday.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I wish to move staff recommendations of the report.
Move the staff recs. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 1316, Parking Regulation Amendment, Windsor Street, in my ward. Councillor Ford.
Move staff recommendations.
Councillor
Mr.
Ford
Chair.
moves to staff recs. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 1317, installation and removal of on-street accessible parking spaces at Etobicoke York District, January 2020, delegated in Wards 5 and Ward 7. Councillor Perruzza.
I'd like to move staff recommendation.
Councillor Perruzza moves to staff recs. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 1318, standing prohibition, VLS Street. Councillor Nunziata.
Yes, on this one here, I'm going to move receipt of the item because I haven't received any calls and emails from the residents, so I will just be moving receipt.
Okay, Councillor Nunziata is moving receipt. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 1319, traffic calming poll results, John Street between Pine Street and Elm Street. Councillor Nunziata.
Yes, I do have a motion to authorize the installation of traffic calming speed humps on John Street between Pine Street and Elm Street, and direct the city solicitor to prepare a bylaw to alter sections of roadway on John Street between Pine Street and Elm Street for traffic calming enhancements as generally shown on drawing EY 19.0077 dated September 2019.
Okay, the amendment's on the screen. All in favor? Recorded vote. All in favor? Councillor Nunziata, Councillor Ford, Councillor Grimes, Councillor Perruzza? How you vote? Councillor Perruzza? Opposed? Deputy Mayor Holliday, that carries. 13.20, proposed dog off-leash avenue in Bissett Park. Councillor Ford, can you move that on my behalf, please?
I'll move the recommendation contained in the report.
All in favor? Opposed? Carried. 1321, status update of comprehensive traffic study in Mimico. I will hold that down in my name. Okay, we have 1322. That's already added, right? We already got that? Okay, 22, 23, and so we have 3 additional starters. 13.22, speed limit amendment, Glenhaven Street, Strathnairn Avenue to Your Road. And 23, request for traffic study in Maple Leaf and Rustic Neighborhoods. And we also have one from Deputy Mayor Holliday. Upcoming planned road resurfacing project proposed for Rathburn Road between Martin Grove and the East Mall. I need a motion to add those 3 to the agenda. Moved by Councillor Ford. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay. Are your motions ready? We need some more. Well, just one sec, Councillor. One sec. Okay, so you're not ready on that one. You're not ready on that one. 1311, public art plan for the Woodbine Casino lands, Block 10, 555 Rexdale Boulevard. Councillor Ford, you held the item. Questions to staff?
Yes, Mr. Chair, very briefly, the staff's in the room. Oh, excellent. I've had conversations with staff prior to community council, but there's a couple things I wanted to clarify. thank you for doing the report. Great report. So with the relationship between Great Canadian Gaming and the public art plan, as written out in the report, there is a panel that will be put together to decide on any public art that will be happening in any of the 5 projects on the lands of Woodbine. Is that correct?
Yes, there will be a jury assembled of up to 5 individuals.
Excellent. And that will be made up of local artists or people from the artist community and our local community. Is that correct?
Yes, Councillor, as written in the public art plan, the jury will be comprised of primarily outside art experts, with at least 1 member being an artist, 2 from the owner development team, and a member that lives in or works in the ward.
Okay. And so with that, the one thing that came out, one of the questions I had is, because this is such a massive project, not just for our community, but for the city, and a massive development, I want to understand the balance between selecting appropriate public art that reflects the community, but also that kind of reflects the project, and understanding that I think Great Canadian as a business also has a brand that they're trying to, put into this development. So how will we balance that?
So, Councillor, this might be a good question to be answered by the public art consultant. He is
Okay.
here in attendance.
Yeah.
Ben Mills from Public Art Management. Would you?
Is
it okay if we call him
very
up?
much welcome. Yeah, absolutely.
And Councillor, I'm sorry, maybe if you could reiterate the question for him as well.
Yeah. No problem. Thank you very much for being here today.
You're welcome.
And thank you for all the work that you've been doing and
Thanks.
are going to do. But my only question, I have to repeat it, is so in this big development,
Mm-hmm.
not just for our community in North Etobicoke, but for the city,
Mm-hmm.
Great Canadian Gaming, of course, and Woodbine Entertainment Group, of course, would have a branding plan and how stuff is going to look and
Yep.
how it's going to interact not only with the patrons that are coming to this new entertainment venue, but also the community. That being said, what lens are you going to approach this with, or do you think should be approached in working with the ownership and the artist community and our community to strike a good balance?
I think it's exactly that. With the project being predominantly gaming driven, with the horse track, with the racetrack in close proximity too, you don't want to ignore that completely. At the same time, this is in a community that's been here for a very long time, so we want to make sure there is a balance between installations that may have a lens towards racetracks, gaming, and that sort of situation, but also ones that look at the community at whole, whether it's the community's history, going back decades, going back hundreds of years, but also looking towards the future. So, our track record at Public Art Management, we've done over 200 projects over the years since 1987 across the country. We've always tried to strike that balance between, respecting the community, its heritage, its history, and also looking forward. So, really, it's making sure that we have a fair balance, an equitable balance of artworks that reflect the neighborhood, reflect the development. They aren't just branding exercises, but they're also not just sort of historical monuments necessarily to people of the area. It's kind of a ballet, I guess, in a way.
Yep, great. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Councillor Ford to speak.
Yes, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. I will be brief. This project started back in 2015 with tons of work that's been put into it from our city staff, from the development and the business industry, and from myself, I'll put in there, but of course other members on this community council, Councillor Holiday. I know former Councillor Crisanti put a lot of work into this, and I just always like to take the opportunity to talk about the great stuff that is happening here. This is another milestone in a monstrosity of a project that is very important for our community in North Etobicoke on many levels, from entertainment to jobs, and this is just another part of this. And as we talk about investments in the community, as we talk about revitalizing the community, public art is a critical importance for it, and this is a $5 million project investment among 5 different projects on the site. That I have the utmost confidence will be a critical part of this development as it reaches its completion, hopefully for phase 1 in 2022, and has 2 more phases scheduled in the coming years. So this is another great news story for the community. So thank you to all.
Any further speakers? Seeing none, I'll just be brief and support my friend Councillor Ford. I think it's great that you're on top of this. I mean, you look at that track alone, it's the history, the Queen's Plate, probably the oldest race in North America. It is the oldest race in North America. The history there with the Royals coming. Also, one of our famous jockeys, Sandy Hawley, I think he should be recognized up there somehow. So I know you're on top of it, so I support you, and good luck on the work ahead of you. With that, Councillor Ford's moving the staff recommendations. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, Deputy Mayor Hall, are you ready to go for 7?
I am, thank you.
Okay, we're going to go back to 7. Bear with me. Preliminary report 340 Mill Road zoning bylaw amendment application. Councillor Hall, do you have a motion?
I do. So it's to have an additional circulation to Toronto Public Health for their comments, if any, on aircraft, highway, and transportation-related noise and air quality. I often move these on applications that are close to the 427 corridor or under a flight path. So I hope you support that amendment.
Okay, amendment's on the screen. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Clause amendment. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Number 8, I take it we're doing the same. Preliminary report 385, the West Mall zoning bylaw amendment application. The motion's on the screen, same as the last one. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. We'll go to 21, which is in my ward. And I'm going to ask staff to come to the floor. I'm going to pass the chair to Councillor Ford. Trying to reset this for you, Councillor Ford. Anyway, thank you. It's Eric, right?
Yeah.
We met the other day in my office. So for this traffic study in Mimico, I asked for this back in 2018, I believe, correct? And I know you're new to the city. Welcome to the Wild West here. And we had a great meeting in our office. So you understand, I think you were out there for a drive in the ward the other day, and we're going to go for a drive ourselves. So with all the development happening around Mimico, the Christie's lands, you're familiar with
Yep.
the applications put in there. You're familiar with the on-the-go Mimico site, all the Mimico Triangle, what's happening there. This will be all taken into account when we look at this.
Through you, Mr. Chair, correct. First of all, thank you for introducing me to the podium. For this study that we're going to call it Mimico Transportation Management Plan, that we will look at not only the vehicle traffic volumes and speeding and all the development growth in the area, but also protecting the safety for the vulnerable road users. So altogether, we will look at it holistically so that everything will be reviewed as an integrated system.
Yeah, so you are both those communities, for example, Humber Bay Shores, if they're heading that way, they kind of cut up through Burlington, come across Caval, and with the new development happening just on the other side of the tracks, they'll be cutting through the other way. So, you know, the resident association there is very concerned about the traffic traveling through there. There's schools in there, there's parks, libraries. This will all be taken in comprehensively?
Absolutely.
Okay, and what is the timeline on this? It's been 2018, we've been very patient. I know you've been earmarked to this project, and I'm pretty happy with the time, but it's not a race. But what is the timelines for this coming back to this council.
Yeah. So for you, Mr. Chair, so the timeline is going to be aggressive, that we were planning to launch this study within this year, complete this study within this year.
Okay, and there'll be some consultation in this?
Correct. So we're planning within the time period, there will be at least two events for public consultation and engaging with the public, one before the summer, one after the summer. The first event we are planning in May.
Great. Those are my questions. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
So I'll just speak very quickly. So we've, the Mimico Residents Association, working with my office, there's a lot going on around Mimico, and I'll tell you, the planning department will tell you what's happening around there. Just north of the tracks in the Mimico Triangle, we did the secondary plan in there. Tremendous amount of density coming in on the GO train platform there and in behind. Also with Humber Bay Shores, almost built out except for the Christie site. This is when you're heading west, this is a way to kind of cut up, and there's a tremendous amount of traffic cutting through Mimico, and then in the morning, people heading downtown, and with this new development, there's people cutting through back the other way. So there's one-way streets. I've asked staff to look at this. How can we mitigate some of these problems? It's top of mind for the Residents Association. I had a great meeting with Eric the other day, and I think this will be a good process to take our community through, and I ask you to support the recommendations in front of us today. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Okay, so our added starters. Number 22. Speed limit amendment, Glenhaven Street, Strathnairn Avenue to Yore Road. Councillor Nunziata, move the recommendations.
Yes, I move the recommendation.
All in favor? Opposed? Okay, recorded. Councillor Nunziata, Councillor Ford, Councillor Grimes. Opposed? Deputy Mayor Holday. 13.23, request for traffic study in Maple Leaf and Rustic neighborhoods. Councillor Nunziata.
Move the recommendation.
Councillor Nunziata moves the staff recommendations. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. And our last item of the day, Councillor Holday's upcoming planned road resurfacing project proposed for Rathburn Road between Martin Grove Road and the East Mall. You got the recommendations in front of you. All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Motion to adjourn. Deputy Mayor Holday. Oh, we have the bills. Very important. No, I don't have it. No. Rosemary stole it off me there. Councillor Nunziata, you have a motion to introduce and act certain bills.
Yes, that the Etobicoke York Community Council pass and declare as bylaws Bill 119 to 127, prepared for the February 5th, 2020 meeting, 13 of Community Council, including Bill 185 and excluding Bill 124.
Shall these bills be passed and declared as bylaws? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Councillor Ford, you have a motion to introduce and enact the confirming bill.
I do, Mr. Chair, that the Etobicoke York Community Council pass and declare as a bylaw a confirmatory bill to confirm the legislative proceeding of the Etobicoke York Community Council acting under delegated authority at meeting 13 on February 5th, 2020.
Shall this bill be passed and declared a bylaw? All in favor? Opposed? Carried. Motion adjourned. Deputy Mayor Holday.
22 minutes.
Record, this hour has 22 minutes. Yeah. Today.